Hello, esteemed listener. This is LaurenWhatevs, 1/3 of your hosts of Snap on This, a Marvel Snap podcast. It's episode 25. With it being an odd-numbered episode, we're going to throw it to Ree first to talk about Marvel Snap or whatever. How was your week? And keep it snappy.
Okay, first, every time you refer to yourself as 1/3 of a host, I think of us as some, mega host that will, fuse together to form an ultimate robot. Yes, host. I would like to be the right arm, please, the one that carries the laser sword. Anyway, okay. Sorry. So, this week in Snap, we got our compensation package. I was flush. Credits. Gold with all the things. And tickets that I did not have time to get through. But still managed to snag myself another Infinity Border. Forget what that makes for me. 6 maybe? 7? I don't know. Somewhere around there. It's the winter variant Elsa.
Oh, nice.
It's a little, she has little
antlers.
Reindeer antlers. I've been using it all winter, so I was very happy to be able to get that for her. And it was using, my classic. I didn't have another deck I was super stoked on right now, so it was classic Meek-ocalypse, which is Meek and Dracula and Apocalypse and Scorn, of course. You can't have a discard deck without Scorn, honestly. Anyway, she's fantastic. Okay, but yeah, people just do not. I have necromantically evangelized this frequently on the podcast, and yet people still do not respect a Dracula. Specifically, people do not respect Draculas on Sinister London. And hello, it's called Sinister London. That's where you're going to expect to find a vampire, right? Sinister London, where you're doubling your Dracula, or on cloning vets, where you're doubling your Dracula. It's you gotta expect that, if you're not planning on red guarding that, you're done. He's gonna be
on
huge.
Bar Sinister.
Anyway. On Bar Sinister, they can't red guardian it. Just the one. Just the one.
Right? Yeah, anytime the vampire army rises, anytime I have drunk enough blood of my enemies to form new friends, gotta learn to respect that. That's on you if you lost a bunch of cubes to it.
You make discard sound so much cooler than I think of it as, because
it's very cool.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever just thrown Scorn away and had it come back to you over and over and over again, larger each time?
Not once.
To the point where you're even I didn't even draw my Apocalypse, and I don't care because Scorn
Lauren,
is
feels so good. Scorn is the most fun card of all the cards. Scorn is so cool.
I'm missing out. I don't
really are.
So honestly, what I struggled most against is the new Bullseye discard deck that you see everywhere. And I just I think it's because, I know when you're the top players all actually do the math, literally, but I feel I do what a lot of people do. It's generally the output of decks by feeling. So you can feel whether, you're probably going to win this lane against them or not. And the Bullseye decks, I just don't have a grasp in my head yet of their output. And I think it's taking so long to form because it's fast forwarded. It's just
that is a huge problem.
Right, and it's they set up, I guess they set stuff up. There's Collector there, there's Bullseye, stuff is happening. And then T6 happens, and it's fast forward, and it's okay, I lost this one.
Yeah.
And I'm not, it's just and it's I know if I thought it out, I would know everything that happened, but we already clicked the next button. We already on. We're already on to the next game. So I just can't get this idea in my head of Bullseye output. So it's the snapping retreating is harder for me. My friend Cash was I can't believe you won an Infinity Avatar with discard. I'm never doubt the power of discard, fool. Okay, no. But
discard's so good. I think that's a strange thing to question.
But yeah, sorry, I just totally lost my train.
Bullseye.
No, it's me. This happens to me all the time. But no, I lost it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so that was my week in Snap. Unless I suddenly remember whatever it was going to.
Okay, yeah, you can. You pipe up if you want to. Our third host, Ben. How was your week in Snap? Keep it snappy.
It was a pretty good week in Snap. We've got a new season going on. I was not able to finish in the global top 1,000 last season. I was just busy. And, sometimes there are more important things to do than grind out Snap when there's, I was having medium fun, but not so much fun that I wanted to, throw hours at it. But when I was, making a good final effort, I was getting a lot of points with this deck that I believe I'd actually built as of recording last week, but for some reason there's always one really cool deck that I'm kicking ass with that I forget to talk about. I honestly don't know why. They're all there on the collection screen. Not that hard to sort through them, but this is a Scream deck that I'm just really crushing it with. In Conquest ladder last season and now ladder this season, I call it Silk Scream, not very creatively because it's got silk in it. Buff Silk. Just had to get that out of the way. But the list is Kingpin, Hydra Bob, Scream, Angela, Craven, Spider-Man, Silk, Red Guardian, Hope Summers, Polaris, and Stegron and Magneto at the top end there. So the thing is, Hope Summers. I don't think other people are playing Hope Summers in their Scream decks, but it's pretty cool. I love playing Magneto on turn 5 and other stuff like that. There's just extra stuff to do with the energy, and it all works out. There are ways to play all of these cards without the acceleration that Hope offers, but I think she adds something. And yeah, I highly recommend this deck. I've been having a lot of fun with it, kicking a lot of butt, and I like that sort of thing. Oh my God.
You saying Scream totally reminded me of, I was so excited. Normally my Gambit has such terrible aim, but once it was 3 squirrels and a Scream, and I was like, hit the Scream, and he did, and I was so, okay, sorry. And then it was I grandmastered him, and I hit the other new card, and my opponent just retreat. They were both just looking at this, I know they were just rage venting on some Discord somewhere, fucking damage twice in a row, and there was 3 squirrels. Okay, sorry. Also, I did remember, just while I've already interrupted, it was just that, hey, an Infinity Avatar, even if discard wasn't good, and a lot of times I am playing B or C tier decks because I think they're fun. If you know when to snap and retreat, you can kind of win with most things that don't super suck. You know what I mean? If you, get your cubes and don't lose them. Sorry.
In recent seasons, I've noticed that the level of competition is not so stiff in Infinite Conquest as perhaps it once was. In fact, yeah, I can usually get a few wins in with, a goofy thing, but yeah, I think it's a little silly that I've chosen this moment to get deep into the Scream game after the nerf. But come on, was that a significant nerf? Did that really change anything? I don't think so. Yeah, strong card, strong deck. Love playing my boy Willie Fisk. Love playing Lorna Dane, the greatest Dane, aka Green Hair Don't Care. Yeah, it's a cool deck, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Other than that, what have I been playing? I've been playing Wave Flourish 25B with speed in the flex slot. I've gone back to Cool Doug's card, the version of Discard Dracula that does not run Bullseye, because I don't know. I go back and forth. Bullseye and Gambit are both sometimes the right tool for whatever job, and Bullseye does make the Morbius so big sometimes, and that, I don't know. I've been going back and forth on them. They're fine. Still been playing Codependence Day, my Wiccan US or not US agent, Iron Patriot. So many of these Star Spangled assholes these days. Yeah, it's been a good week. Played some more other games. You know how I do, but I won't bore you with the details. It was a fine week of Snap.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I was muted, but Star Spangled Assholes got me. For the audio listeners, I was dying. Okay, I'm going to take it. I'm assuming you're going to pass it to me. I also had a great week in Snap. Last week I reported that I don't know how high I climbed. I made it to top 4,000. Pretty good. Just like playing something that I enjoyed, climbing up. Okay. And then I encountered an article from Richard Garfield entitled, "Keep Your Numbers Off of Me, Why Tournaments Support Better Communities Than Ladders." Let me read just the second paragraph to you. I'm sorry, I'm reading to you, but like this hit me this week. He's talking about starting a new digital game. "Quickly, I noticed that I was having less fun because I was no longer experimenting and trying new things. I was focusing on what I knew worked. I began to lean more heavily on what other people said was correct, rather than finding my own way. Losses were setbacks rather than learning experiences. When I rose to a level that corresponded to my actual skill, I stalled. Then the games became more samey, with the players mostly playing similar styles. I noticed that I felt like a mediocre player, even though I was in the top 10%. There's more, but that's his ladder experience. And it hit so hard for me too, where I'm like, oh, I've been playing other people's decks that are very good, and I am having fun with them, but it's not the same type of fun. And the higher I climb, the less fun my opponents are. And, you know, in some ways, like, I think I've been justifying that, but like, you know, like, getting better at the game feels good, and it does. Mastery does feel good. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm throwing away my score again. I'm not gonna lose 20,000 rank on a clip hunter spree, but I'm gonna pull out a deck that I truly love that's super fun. And I did. And it's an older one. And I updated it a bit. I mixed in some things, but here's the crux of it. You're using Mysterio, Morph, Demon from Hood, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Sentries with the Void. You're using these things to both make excellent targets for Cersei and also discount Mockingbird. And really, you can stack up a shit ton of power with just like a Sentry, a Mockingbird, a Demon, and a true Mysterio. Like, that's a big lane. And then the other lane you win with Valkyrie or Cersei. You know, like a card like a Negasonic Teenage Warhead is really fun because it does its job and then you evolve it into a 4-cost, and that's dope. I also have had so much fun throwing Void out early because people will suddenly stack right, and you're just like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna do my own thing. You worry about the right. You're putting way too much energy over there. Whether or not I'm gonna attack it later, they're so scared of receiving the Void. Anyway, I dropped to like 10k and hovered there very comfortably. And that's usually where I am when I'm playing for fun. And I loved it. I had a blast. And so that was happy. I did have several attempts at Infinity Conquest, both with real decks, heavily air quoted, and my silly decks. I made it to Battle 4 and 5 several times, but I did not have any success this season. It was sad. Yeah, I had a great week, and then 2 new cards came out, and I haven't loved them. Should we talk about them?
We sure can.
Okay. First up, we're gonna do the season pass card. Sam Wilson, Captain America. I've heard that comic fans just call him Captain Falcon, which I think is fantastic. I think you may have even brought that up before, but a 2/3. Game start, add Cap Shield to a random location. Ongoing, you can move Cap Shield. And then Cap Shield, of course, is a 1/1 with the ongoing can't be destroyed. And when it enters a Captain America's location, +2 to that Captain America. We all got him, right? Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Card in my collection.
Yes.
I think I've even upgraded it to green.
Oh, mine is
no,
blue.
I haven't played with him. Mostly, I've just been...
I have.
Yeah, I've been preying upon him, I would say, with the Scream deck that I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I can see that. Scream's so annoying. Always trying to Red Guardian a Scream. I have played him.
You should, and you can, and it works. It's, you know...
I've seen some cool ongoing decks, like... that Chase was playing from like Safety Blade and maybe Ika. But they have speed and I don't have speed yet. I mean, this is an unfortunate thing now where I'm like missing enough cards that it's like, I mean, I could find subs, but I played our friend from Snap.fan writers fame, Scott's deck. Because I was too, it was too late at night. I wasn't up for making my Marvel Boy deck yet. And one I did, yes. Red Guardian is rampant, and it does, take out the shield. But like, I don't hate that because like you put in a Red Guardian, it's like Cap's shield isn't a card you're really trying to win the game with usually, so if that's gonna draw the Red Guardian away from my like Victoria hand or whatever else I got going on in the deck, like, thank you. Yes, Peter. I'm sure they're all like, hey, got him.
Yeah. The shield is doing its job if it, if it's a Red Guardian hit.
Like, that scaling power it's every other turn you get +2. That's like not worth Red Guardianing about. Like, we live in a world with like Havoc and like Thena and like Dracula and like valid targets, like things you would benefit from wiping.
That's why I'm always really stoked when someone Red Guardians something like lower than like, my Drac or whatever else in decks like that I'm playing. But this deck, from Scott, a thing he pointed out, which I think was very astute and I hadn't thought about, is that Cold Obsidian is like definitely one of the best friends of Cap Shield, having that guaranteed 1 to play.
You need no other activator.
Move. And this was such a weird deck to me when I first saw it, but it was working well for a deck and build. It's got Iron Patriot, who honestly I still think is very good.
Oh yeah, nothing has changed.
Yeah, like Baron Zemo, which is weird to me because Victoria Hand is in it, and I'm like, well, that doesn't buff a Zemo card, but it buffs an Iron Patriot card. It buffs like a Hawkeye, Kate Bishop Hawkeyes.
That's enough.
Right? And so Quicksilver's here because Wiccan's here. Rocket, Raccoon, and Groot, I think are still very good. It's like, what if you had a Jeff that stole power? Because the point of Jeff is like for the times like Sanctum Sanctorum, or, I mean, sometimes you can throw him on a like Professor X or something, but like, I think they're a very good card whenever.
Yeah, that reach, but you get to leave some of the influence behind after you move. Yeah.
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
Sometimes I find myself trapped in like a situation where I'm like, well, I shouldn't play them this turn because I don't have priority. And then like, I'm like, maybe I'll have priority next turn because I've made a play that might snag priority. But then like, you don't get priority. And then Rocket and Groot, just like languishes in your hand and you feel silly. But mostly if you play it, it's a good idea. It's a good idea to play that card. That's what I think. On 3 if you can.
I play my curve if I have them. Yeah. Also in this deck that I thought, Mockingbird, which, right, with Kate Bishop, it's like these cards that I usually only would put Mockingbird in like Arishem or Loki, something where like I'm jetting a lot of shield cards, but
and
it's like,
shield.
Oh, a little package. Oh, yeah, and the shield. So, like, shield. All these packages, like, playing a 3/9, pretty good. You know what I mean? I forget you don't have to get that much out to get high value from these cards. Also, I've noticed Elias is a big Wiccan friend, right? Almost every Wiccan deck I feel like I've played has Elias, which is good. Like, just still any deck where you're expecting to get prio regularly, Elias can just be a champ for you. Oh man, I took out a Nexus. Like, this was on my Infinity run, I think, too. Power Nexus, which is the location that gives you that power at that location to all the other locations. And I knew in their deck they weren't playing a location changer. I mean, I didn't know, but like, I knew their deck.
Yeah, you had a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah, and I got my Rocket Raccoon down on there. Okay, this wasn't my Infinity run because I wasn't playing Dragon. But this was when I was testing out this deck because then, and they had this huge bounce deck and they were so proud. They got their little Sable and their Rocket Raccoon like super big. And the last turn I just got Prio and Elias, their Hit Monkey and like nonsense.
Hell yeah.
Seen it coming. Anyway, sorry. Like, that was glorious. Okay, anyway, so yeah, this deck has been, like, surprisingly, like, it's not something I would have put together in my brain, but that's what I love about playing a deck like this. It's like, oh, I didn't think about this card this way. So, yeah, expand my horizons.
So, thumbs up for Sam Wilson as Cole and Mockingbird enabler? Is that
yeah.
I think it's just a fantastic card. I am looking forward to playing it eventually. I'm just, I'll get to it when I get to it.
You've been preying on it and you think it's fantastic, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure these people I'm beating are beating a lot of other people.
Just cards
Although
that
I
can
gotta
move
say,
value.
I've been seeing so many bots since season reset. Oh my goodness! Wow, yeah. So like when I do get a human, they're usually playing Sam Wilson, and I do prey on them and stuff. But like, yeah. I don't know. Mostly I've been running into a lot of bots. I wish I were farming more Sam Wilsons. Is my feeling. Because the bots are still playing their classic bot decks, although now they do pretend to be in alliances with real humans, which is wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely
interesting
wild choice. Camouflage the presence of bots. That's the squeaky wheel that needs the grease. Okay, guys.
It's
Right
always
on.
jarring when you're on ladder again and running into bots after playing Infinite.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you're several rank. You're starting at 73 or wherever you start. It's fine if it's lower. But yeah, suddenly there's way more bots than there were towards the end of the previous season.
Wait, so what have you been doing with Captain?
I tried just my own regular, what would you do with Captain America deck? I tried some Spectrum-y things and some move synergies and man, my first 5 games with him, I lost and I was like, fuck this card.
Was this with Spectrum stuff?
Yeah, and
I'm a little skeptical of that direction.
I have seen some people being positive about Spectrum, but first of all, I find this card extremely frustrating when you don't draw Sam Wilson, and if you draw him lit, he's just awkward. This card made me so wish that they didn't do the move rework, where move always happens before on reveal.
I think of this so much, every day. It's just, so frustrating. The game was so much more interesting and fun back then. Oh my gosh.
This card would be so much more fun if I could play Captain America Classic and then move the shield to it on the same turn. Or, drop a Hercules and move the shield to it. That would be so much more fun. Hercules is extremely fun with this card, by the way. Even when you get both captains out on curve, it's a lot of power, but it just feels like so much investment. It's a little clunky. It's kind of, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but it's kind of what I was concerned about last week. This card ended up being a little clunkier than I hoped for. It is very fun moving the shield every turn and having, doing some shenanigans with that. After I got frustrated with the card and cleared the 70s with Clog because everybody's playing Doom 99.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I pulled out my fun deck again, my Valkyrie Cersei fun deck. I put Captain America in there because the moving shield can be both a good Valk target. We love extra bodies for Valk, and it's a discount for Mockingbird. So it went okay. I don't know if I liked him better than Morph, who I swapped, but it went okay. I'm not totally giving up on him, but I think he's mid. He is certainly, I'm confident in saying he is nowhere near the power level of the last 4 season pass cards.
Interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right.
I agree with that.
I will play with this card some before we reconvene next week. I gotta say, having not played it, I'm still speculating here, but that does not feel plausible to me.
I would love to be proven wrong.
It seems like a real good card to me, but I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I still need
there were times where moving the shield was useful. I moved it into the raft, got the card, and then moved it out of the raft. Normal move things that I could do with Jeff. That was cool.
You could do once useful. With Jeff.
Yeah, right. So it's a little different. You can use the shield to steer where your Doom bots go. I think is something that somebody's doing. Regis maybe. Cool and clever, but I don't know. if you look at the raw number output, it seemed high, but then it's just like, yeah, but you need him out on curve in order to do that. And that's like a huge downside. Anyway, disappointing. Not necessarily a bad card, but I don't know. I haven't had very much fun with him yet. At least I haven't had success with him yet. I've had some fun moving the shield around, especially with like double Hercules. Doing really silly stuff is fun. I had the thought to do a shield heist, and I made a whole deck dedicated to shield heist where I was going to rogue it and then Electra it and then bring their shield over with Fenris. And then I realized if I rogue it, it doesn't do the buff anymore. So the shield heist is pointless. That was very sad because I got really close to pulling it off once. Then I was like, wait, once there's extra, once I wipe it, it does nothing. It would have just been a cool clip, not a real thing to do.
Just the moving stuff is so like the times where you're getting the name of the location is escaping me, but where you're White Hot Room, right, where you're filling it to get max 3 energy, all the ones, or the raft, where you're trying to fill something up early, it's super useful there, just like a Jeffers or whatever it would be.
That's how it seems to me.
There's
again, I'm just remarking on what I see other people doing across the board.
Yeah. Is it Kunlun where every time you go there you get +2? That one's fun with the shield.
Yeah,
I bet it is.
That is fun.
Yeah.
I almost never play straight move decks, so anytime I can move something into Kunlun, I'm like, woo, Nick will get +2, maybe twice this game.
Nico has her move spell. Yeah. Okay, the other card, the spotlight card this week, Joaquin Torres, Falcon, the Birdman. 3/4 ongoing. The on-reveal abilities of your 1-cost cards here happen twice. It's Wong for 1-cost cards. Did either of you get him?
Absolutely, yes. Spent tokens.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
I get a card every month with tokens. I made that claim like once on the podcast, and I keep checking. And yep, I got Malekith with tokens, Luna Snow with tokens. I forget who I got last. I don't know. If I had the thing in front of me, I could tell you who. But yeah, I'm always getting somebody with tokens every month. I have enough that I can get another Series 5 with tokens too, because the compensation package was so, tokeny.
Wait, okay. First, I need to know if Lauren, did you get him?
I did not. Not yet.
Okay, no, then it's on to you, Ben, because I'm on the fence. Convince me to get this card or to not get this card, because I'm not sure how I feel. It feels very bouncy to me, which I'm not. What?
I don't even think I've played against it. No.
I've seen one. I've played a lot yesterday, and I've been
having a ton of fun with this Scream deck. I didn't like really hit this point very hard in it, but like it's got Angela, it's got Silk, it's got nerfed Hydra Bob. He's still so good with Craven. I'm just having so much fun with that deck because Spider-Man. It's like it's doing its own move tricks. It's doing move tricks on the opponent. It's such a fun deck. Why would I stop to play the new cards? Honestly, there's still science to be done with the old cards. I'm having a blast. I don't know,
because they're shiny and new.
Do I seem concerned with that?
I feel like I want to get it.
Then they're just as good. I'm so sick of the failure of our community's object permanence. It annoys the hell
I know
out of
how
me.
many decks that are like months old and are actually still competitive. You never see them. Yeah, except for like the classics. Your APOC discard and your like classic destroy. Like those are the ones that survive. But other than that. We have short attention span.
It's just a bunch of goldfish. It's maddening.
I mean, but they're new cards.
But no,
what are you
like? I have not yet played Joaquin Torres.
We have old cards. We have cards at home. Why would I possibly want a shiny new card to play? What are you, the Grinches of Snap? Come on, like new
pretty
cards
much.
are exciting.
I mean, like, is that not my reputation?
Yeah, you are a little bit that. You have failed our listeners. I'm just saying. Okay,
I'll get to him eventually. It's just like everybody else is. I assumed everybody else would be cooking with him, and I like to let everyone else go first, and then I see what they missed, and then I do that.
I think this card looks boring, and I don't want to rehash everything because we haven't played with it. I don't want to rehash everything we said last week, but I had a couple more thoughts, especially after seeing it, and because I was like, oh, I haven't run into any. I can't say anything. I need to go do some research. So I tried to watch some like YouTube videos and look at Twitter and see what people were saying. It's very hard to find people saying anything about this card. Here's what I think. I think he's just awkward, and that most of the time you would rather be bouncing. Right. And I know you can technically do Joaquin and bouncing, but it just does not seem like I would rather be playing Beast, Toxin, Falcon than getting Falcon 2 in there anywhere. I think for him to be successful, he needs to be a 2-cost.
I think he'd be too good.
Yeah, I agree. It does feel like he'd be too good at 2.
Yeah. That just gives you more turns to do the thing, more turns to like bounce and do the thing. Like you give him an inch and he'll take a mile. Like these doubling things, they get out of hand.
But it feels like they tried him at 2 and he was probably way too busted, and then they put him at 3 and then they ran out of time. And that's what we got.
That sounds very plausible. Oh man. Wow. I think you might have cracked it there.
He's not a straightforward bounce card. Like if we had the bouncing Red Wing, then maybe in fact, I think that lends to your theory is that Red Wing got changed so last second that it just messed everything up. Because Joaquin would have been great with bouncing Red Wing. But in a regular classic bounce deck, part of the reason you're bouncing is because you're playing, Black Swan or Hit Monkey or Bishop, like cards that care about cards being played. Joaquin Torres does a different version of that where you're strictly focused on the on reveals. And I'm just like... if I waited a turn, I could use Wong instead, and on turn 3, I could be using Beast or something. Like Grandmaster is a way to double. Like how many ones have abilities you really, really want to double? There's only a few of them.
I mean, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your Iceman, your what, like Rocket Raccoon. I should have had a list in front of me. The Hood. Oh, the Hood is like the MVP, right?
Yeah, there are good ones.
Thomas, you don't want to hold 1 cost till turn 4 usually, unless you're bouncing. That's usually the only reason you're holding low cost. Otherwise, that's why you put low cards in your deck, so you can play them on the early turns.
Yeah, I just think he seems very awkward. And both the one time I saw him and I've seen other people post this, it's like, it's so telegraphed. Like, oh, you're going to play Rocket Raccoon there. What if I just... don't play there and your Rocket Raccoon is a 1 instead of a 9?
Let me posit what I think the optimal play pattern is for Joaquin Torres. You play 1 cost on 1
him and won't even play with him.
Yeah, just this is what I think might work. Okay, so you play your good bouncy 1-drop. You play more good bouncy things on turn 2. You play Beast on turn 3. You play Joaquin on 4. I think turn 4 is when we play Joaquin. That's what I think. And we play him alongside just a whole cavalcade of on-reveal 1-drops. And probably it's unpredictable where we're going to play them because we don't have a lot of things on the board. In this scenario, the only thing we have on the board is old Hank McCoy. And, that's just a whole world of possibilities you got in front of you. So that's what I think the smart thing to do with Joaquin probably is Beast on 3, Joaquin on 4. That's
you
my
might
feeling.
be right. That means
Black
that you're playing
viable?
Black Swan is viable. Absolutely.
Maybe Black Swan is in this deck. Sure. If that helps me sell the concept to you both, how about this? Yeah, maybe next week is the week I finally let Black Swan into my heart and I come to you with the Ben bounce.
On your curve, though, where you're dropping Joaquin for the first time on turn 4, that does not leave room for you to bounce those cards again.
No, you shouldn't.
Okay. And maybe that's fine.
But maybe you should Grandmaster them or something. Get them out of there. Find a way to get a little more juice.
You can Classic Falcon on 5, but most of those cards that are the 1-cost ones, like that we were talking
also,
about.
Are we sure there's no time to bounce him again? Couldn't we Falcon him up?
You can, but this is what I'm saying. Most of them, your Hood, your Iceman, half of Nico's spells, they're not helpful on turn 6.
That's true. As far as helpful things on turn 6, there's
Silver Sable and Rocket
Raccoon, and Silver's not that helpful because, the top card of their deck is not exactly a concern.
She goes +4. You don't hate that.
No, you don't hate it, but it's nothing to write home about. It can't be the reason for the season.
All right. I hope you prove me wrong.
I
think this does seem like the type of card that needs some development. That like you can't really judge it based on day 1, even if I had played it.
Yeah, I would love to have played against it. That would be very informative. I could speak with much greater authority.
For the card. It's so awkward. Just like the character with his weird bird arms, wing arms, and his weird bird eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, he's just that way. So poor guy. I want the best for him.
Yeah. We all do, for sure. Okay, next week's card. Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. I was higher on him than you two were. A 2/2. When your opponent ends a turn with unspent energy, draw a card with 10 or more power.
Wait, incorrect. I was pretty high on him, I thought.
Oh, were you? Okay, Ben was lower than us then. How about that?
True.
Yes.
I think drawing is a very strong ability, but I've seen a few people be lower on him lately. Like, how many places does he really go? And how many, 10 power cards are critical? You have your Heimdall. There are some decks where that's a
you have to be playing enough 10 power cards that you can't draw them all naturally before the trigger happens, because otherwise you just played a bad 2/2. At least that's my feeling. How many 10 cost cards do you have to play to justify including Thaddeus Ross in your deck? Because I think it's probably 3, right? Or do you think it's just 2? You'll probably get value most of the time with 2 if it happens. You'll get the draw maybe.
Right? You trying to use them to enable a combo? Or are you trying to use them to, I think this is what I like about him, though, is that he makes me want to experiment. He makes me want to, play around. And then maybe, when you play a board game 3 times, and you're like, yeah, I'm good. We've seen the range of this one. But, it makes me want to try stuff, right? Just to see. I was talking last time about, could he be a different form of magic for some decks? We'll see.
Yeah, the 2/2 body is definitely bad.
Yeah. If this were a 1 cost, I would feel completely differently.
Yeah, or even a 2/3.
That second energy is so significant.
Absolutely. We still don't know about the Red Hulk thing. That does absolutely affect. If you get to draw Red Hulk and then Red Hulk powers up that turn, that's cool.
We have to do a friendly match with the Adam Warlock thing and just get to the bottom of this.
Or we can just wait a week.
Is that our due diligence as journalists or whatever?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to do that. We can report, even though everybody will know next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, by the time the next episode comes out.
We can do it during intermission. Yeah, I don't know. I know I'm high on him, and I was penalizing Sam Wilson for being a bad card if you don't get it on curve, and he's even worse if you don't get him on curve.
Oh,
so
playing him on turn 3 or 4, yikes.
Yeah, if you don't play him on turn 2 in a Surtur deck, you're probably not playing him at all.
Also, what if they're doing the Wiccan speed thing? What if they just don't leave energy on the table? I don't know. This is such a soft draw.
It's not that easy to pull off, to be honest. I play a lot of Wiccan, and there are plenty of games where I can't. I
definitely thought that Red Hulk would not be that much of a problem just because of how bad it is to not spend all your energy. And I'm I try to be little bit religious about spending all of it, but I don't know.
Okay.
I'm still unconvinced.
Do you ever play a Wiccan deck and sometimes think maybe I'm not his type? Sorry,
No.
it's like I can't get him to go off. Okay,
That deck I mentioned, Codependence Day. I've been repping it for about a month now, and it's real good fun.
I should try I haven't. Is it a move though?
No, I mean it does have Hydra Bob in
I'll
it,
try it.
but
Oh, okay. No, Hydra Bob is acceptable, even though he is, a lesser man than he once was.
he's fine. He's just fine, I tell you.
I don't know. I used to play Hydra Bob in every deck, and I don't. Did they just get in my head with the 1 point of power? Yes. Yes, they did. Now Ant-Man is better sometimes. Okay.
Oh, Ant-Man is such a beast. I love Ant-Man.
Ant-Man's obviously in my basically any Valkyrie deck that I play. Okay. Spotlight
Ant-Man
Friends.
is in the Surfer deck that I sometimes play on my spouse's account. It's the collection is not as fleshed out as mine, so I'm left to play some suboptimal or unusual cards. So Ant-Man and Surfer, that's what I do. And gosh dang it, if I don't win a lot of games against people with bad collections,
it's a lot of power. Thaddeus, Thunderbolt, Ross's Spotlight Friends are Blink and Nebula. Blink, I'm really surprised we don't see as much. Like,
Blink's a great card.
She's so good.
Yeah, she's a great card, and you just don't see her that often. Sometimes in like Hella,
because everyone's playing Doom 2099 in Galacta, and you don't want to blink.
In my previous attempt at a Wiccan deck, I was playing Blink, and it was working for me. She's good.
But I mean, even when Blink was 1 month old, like she was already like out of the meta, and it's like she's a perfectly good card. And Nebula is excellent if you are lacking Nebula.
Nebula's
that is
everything.
A very
Nebula is not as crucial as she used to be. I would say, like you don't see her like around as much.
Yeah, we're filling the boards more now, so she gets stopped 4 times easily, but.
Okay.
I mean, like Storm is not what Storm was, so
there's that too. Lockdown is gone.
This reminded me of a team answer I was really bummed to see, where someone was talking about power creep, and they were mentioning the Guardians, not like like the super earliest cards, and they're comparing to like Luna Snow and stuff. What are you doing playing like a Groot anymore and everything with these stat
Groot
lines?
Classic is
and their answer was just like, that's part. It's like their starter cards. So now you just get better cards. They teach you the game, and now you have better cards. And I was like, oh, they didn't. They didn't say that, because it was my dream. Because I feel like there's one point in Team Answers, they're like, we want every card to be viable. You know what I mean? And now they're just like, just better cards as time goes on. Because they're just starter cards. You get those cards, and then they're not good enough anymore. You need better cards, because that's and it's like
they acknowledge.
I hate that attitude.
They acknowledge there are starter cards that
they have made mention of preserving the new player experience. We know how important that is to them. Apparently, that's like the only thing about the new player experience that's like that important. But
wasn't even like Jessica Jones or whatever. It wasn't even like Series 1 and 2 cards. I feel like they were talking about more recent cards, and they were just like, the new cards will be better. And I was like, I thought better.
They were talking about Series 1 and 2. They were talking about
Series 1. We can love new cards while not leaving old cards behind.
I agree.
Bring them all.
And while I do agree with that, and I think that it's something that's actually really great about Snap, it's pretty unusual that your starter deck still has cards that you're playing all the way at the end game.
I don't know about that. Like, you get a Magic the Gathering starter set, it'll have like Naturalize in it or whatever, and Naturalize is a real card you would want to play. I was going to say Disenchant because that's how old I am. My Magic the Gathering starter set had Disenchant because that was a white effect. But yeah, I assume they probably still have Naturalize in them and stuff. I don't know.
I'm sure there are playable cards, and some of it is just the scale, right? Like thousands of cards versus 300 cards. Like it's a very different scale.
It's hard to balance, I get, but I feel like they're just saying, yeah, we just have our own. Man, I haven't played Magic so long. I'm blanking on the name of the recent. What's the name of the inn?
I have no idea. There's a reason I referenced 2 extremely old cards.
Okay, so but the idea is only the sets of the last few years are like viable and playable.
Oh, you're talking about what's in like current
rotation? You're talking about like rotations?
Yeah, basically. I thought there was a more specific name, but yes.
And yeah, I'm sure Snap doesn't do that, and that's a choice.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Snap. Is Snap doesn't have rotations, but they kind of do. They kind of do if they're saying we are actively power creeping cards. So that's all I'm saying.
I think they could be doing. I know it's an impossible task to just release cards without power creeping and still like make them relevant and exciting and stuff. But like, I think they could be doing a little better at curtailing the level of power creep and the speed of it, and doing a better job at rehabilitating old cards in such a way that does not diminish the relevance of the new cards or the cards that they intend to put out in the future. Like, I think they could make a table that had more seats at it for cards old and new. That's what I think they could do. But, it's easy for me to say. They haven't asked me to help.
But on the flip side, to be more positive, I think releasing a lot more cards, because another way to buff old cards and make them viable again is just to have more options to play them with, right? So maybe
give them new synergies. Captain America.
Sorry, what were you saying, Lauren? I cut you off.
I was just saying, I don't know. A card languishing in Series 3 definitely is not going to get the same attention as a card that's, struggling in Series 5.
Although they do sometimes abandon those cards too, but
every now and then for sure. Although I think mostly they want consumer confidence that if you buy a card that sucks, like a new card that sucks, they're going to take care of you. Like they're going to make that card playable. There are certainly exceptions. The other thing I was thinking was, I don't know, lost it.
Never happened to me.
Right. The train of thought. They might. One way to deal with power creep is to do a one-time like scale everything up, right? Get more granularity in there, because there are cards that are very hard to power when they're like when they need to be in between 2 power levels. You're not going to do a 3.5 for power. Yeah. So if they did it one time to like scale up the entire thing, the entire range of power, that would give them some more granularity, and they could give like those small buffs to cards that could use it.
Well, the thing is, like, the example of the Guardians of the Galaxy, like, those cards are so bad that they could, like, buff them to make them more playable while still not even buffing them enough to make them, like, playable, but it would feel better for the people who wanted to play them, and they still wouldn't be good enough to, prevent anyone from buying new cards because, like, they wouldn't be, like, that good. But, like, if Groot Classic, what does Groot Classic go to? 3.7 if you guess right. Like if you made it 3.8 if you guessed right, it still wouldn't be that good. Like, it would like I wouldn't be out here playing it, but maybe Ree would be having more fun with it or something.
I see my Guardians deck put together. I pull it out again.
Yeah, and you told me it's got Drax and Groot Classic in it. What are you? Okay.
A mad woman.
I'm just saying these are cards that like could receive like significant buffs and still not see play. So why don't they give them those significant buffs and let the people who insist on playing them for the love of the game to like have a little more fun?
We might see it. Like they already did buff the Guardians once. They might do it again. The last OTA was like 7 cards that just got 1 power, right?
Yeah, and like, they were the least. What?
Well, to your point, they all got that 1 power, and so what? Who cares about 4 or 5 Ms. Marvel or 5/7 Namora? Even though I think
the thing is, like, those are cards that are in spotlight caches. These are cards that are like outside. I mean, like, if we're gonna hand out meaningless +1 buffs that don't raise anyone to the level of viability, then like at least you could give it to the old cards that people already have, and maybe do something a little more significant for cards like Miss Marvel. I think Nomura's fine. I don't know why Nomura received the commit she received, but it's fine.
I played her because of the buff. I had a auto build me, and it built me a Nimrod deck, which I was happy with because I got a cool Nimrod variant. And it was when you pulled it off, it was really cool and fun, but it was hard to pull off. I don't know. As a Nomura lover, I would like to, love her more, I guess.
Yeah. 2/6 Silk when, cowards.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. It dropped later than usual. It was like Monday. We got the season trailer for the new season that just started. And it showed us, cards that we've already been playing and stuff like that. But it also previewed Character Mastery, which will be coming in next week's patch. Not a lot to say about it, but it looks like you unlock finishes and flares for characters. You get XP for having variants and splits. And then, I'm so glad, at level 30, you get a custom reaction set for the character. And they showed the hood, but they made it sound like it would be available for every character at launch. So I'm very excited to get my Valkyrie reaction set. If I have enough experience in a week, I will be rocking that. Thoughts about Character Mastery? It's mostly what we thought it would be.
Albums 2, the Banananing.
Banananing, we can make that happen for sure.
I favor the addition of arguably unnecessary and
banananing,
beginning, happening. I always I don't know. I just think that the extra consonant there helps it because bananaing you got vowels in the vowels, and in a messy sloppy way makes it sound like you're slurring or something. But the banananing, I don't know. That's just how I would do it. But no, they're gonna splitsmas me for sure. Everyone's gonna drop the N and just make it their own. That's fine.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. The release of Character Mastery fucking up all of our flare and finish drops will be known as the banananing, which is very easy to say. I am concerned about that. I am concerned that unlocking 20 new finishes and flares is going to make it harder for me to get the ones I want, which for me personally is Crackle, and I don't care about the finish. But other people
I get that.
Oh, go ahead.
But I'm just excited to see things that aren't foil or prism, to be honest. Along the way, even I'm bored of just looking for gold or crackle. Because honestly, a lot of card backs look terrible with gold. I got gold Crackle on Valk and on gold, right? Which should be so good, but it doesn't look that great with her variants that I have, to be honest. The background, what? I'm going to cover up Peach Momoko's beautiful, star shower with this. It's just
yeah, that's why I like things finished on everything. I like things colorful.
So it'll be, I don't know. It might be fun to see some other stuff.
Yeah, it's fun to see people already customizing with borders, right? It'll be really fun to see a much wider variety. I just worry about I don't know, people who really value being, ink, turning all their cards into ink or gold or whatever one thing that they really like. If that's going to get much more difficult to do,
if you're going to get punished for engaging with this feature,
that's the thing I'm concerned about. If it feels bad to unlock new stuff. Otherwise, I think it's great. I think it's going to be really cool to have just new things to look at. I think it's great to give big spenders and collectors more advanced things to chase.
I want to get destroyed by banana null instead of just ink null.
Banana null is more powerful. That's canon. Bananan. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's all to say. I have nothing of interest.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's going to be good. We can talk about it more next week once we know more about it. The other thing they showed off was Sanctum Showdown, which was already like slightly in the data mines, but we got to learn more about what the mode is. It's going to be a limited time event. I think they said for 2 weeks, but I don't have it in front of me how long it's going to last. But it has a massive shop, kind of like the Conquest shop, where instead of being a set track, from the other diner in High Voltage, you have a shop and you could choose, are you going to go in on cosmetics and borders? Are you going to go for new cards? Are you going to go for series 4 and 5 cards that you don't own, a random one? That's a good prize. Love that aspect of it.
It's going to be hard because we're going to want all of it. Everybody's going to want all of it.
And the prices seem significant enough that it looks like there's going to be an entry fee. Don't love that.
Yep.
I think that my satisfaction with this game mode will hinge on how easy it is to get the meaningful rewards that, like, you know, game pieces and stuff. If I can get all the game pieces on offer without throwing extra money at it, I'll be happy. And if I can't, I won't throw the extra money at it and I'll be unhappy. So I hope they make good decisions and do cool stuff.
They have definitely set it up to disappoint people, because I have already seen a lot of people talking about 7 free cards, and it's like, no, there's no way that you're getting 7 for free.
I mean, like, do those people know who were, like, have they met Marvel Snap before?
Yeah.
Like,
a previous event where the prize was King Eitri, and all of a sudden, no, you're going to get 4 new Series 5 cards.
This week's gonna start, and I'm gonna see those 7 cards and be like, I can do it. I can get them all. You know what I mean? And it's like,
I do.
It's gonna be hard not to try. Like, if it's a bunch of big rewards like that, and it's like, oh, am I gonna make myself miserable trying to grind this out?
Don't do it.
Probably.
The fact that you can recognize that, like, that's like one of the outcomes means that, like, maybe you could avoid it, even if they give you the opportunity to make yourself miserable. Perhaps you can refuse as the master of your own destiny.
It's so hard because I'm already, like I said, at the point where it's like I can't play these decks because I don't have Scream, I don't have Speed. I've been following as someone who really kind of carefully manages their resources in comparison, certainly with the totality of the player base. It's like I've fallen farther and farther behind on cards, which makes me want to use opportunities like these to try and get them when I can. Not even a free-to-play player. I buy the season pass every month.
Yeah, and now this season is introducing more cards in a single month than has ever happened before, with the exception of the token shop's introduction in, like, December of 22. So I don't think that's going to slow down the falling behind on your collection. And then you have to be even more careful about what you're getting. Yeah, my guess is that if you are an extremely active player, you'll be able to get the 3 new cards for free. That would be my guess of where, like, the sweet spot is. But yeah, the prize in the shop, you can get up to 4 random unowned Series 4 or Series 5 cards. And those are more expensive than the new release cards that we'll talk about in a second. It's my mistake for talking about the shop before we talk about the game mode, but we'll just do it out of order. I wanted to bring up, I believe that there will be a series drop that overlaps with the game mode. I don't know exactly what the dates are, but series drops we get, there's supposed to be a bigger one than the last one coming in the first quarter of this year. And they also are supposed to give us a 2 weeks heads up, which means it's not coming in the February patch. So it's probably the March patch that has the series drop in it. So possibly consider waiting for the series drop before buying any of those Series 4 and 5 random cards in the Showdown shop. That's just my little disclaimer on that. Anything else about the shop? No, I think it's a very cool design. I think it's great to make it people can engage with it as intensely as they want to. But I don't think they've properly tempered expectations.
I wish they would get out in front of this, because, like, they're not doing themselves any, like, big PR favors by, like, letting people get the wrong idea for so long. I don't know.
Yeah, Glenn had a couple answers where it was like, maybe it was just one where he was like, here's like a hint, but I'm going to wait until the, marketing team can address this. How long are they waiting for the marketing team? Like, you need to get ahead of it. You've released the video that showed the mode and people are already speculating.
I don't want to point. I'm not sure whose bad decision this was, but yeah.
Okay, the mode itself, it's in the format of regular Snap as far as there are 3 locations, you can be winning a location, etc. But one location at random will be worth 1 point on turn 1, and whoever's winning that location at the end of turn 1 gets the point. And then on turn 2, a different location is worth 1 point, and whoever's winning that one gets the 1 point. And then starting on turn 3, 2 locations are 1 point, and the third location is 4 points. Both players can snap to make it worth 1 extra, so it could go up to 5 or even 6 points for like the Sanctum. Whoever gets to 16 first wins, then that ends the game. So it's possible that a game goes fast. What would it be, like 4 turns at the fastest if you won?
Yep, that sounds. If I understand everything. What you just said correctly, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it looks fun. It is going to be a unique meta because you're going to want to be able to respond really quickly to like which location is the Sanctum. I think the Guardians will be good in this mode.
I think that's true. For numbers reasons, I think that like mechanically the Guardians like are doing a good thing for this mode. I think that the specifics of their bodies and the bonuses they get, like Guardians gameplay is good in this mode, but like the output is bad still, so probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If you're spending your 3 energy on Groot, that's bad. But if you're spending your 3 energy on
Rocket, Raccoon, and Groot, then yes, that's good. You're right. There's a good Guardian for this.
Is there
mode.
Not a 2-cost Guardian?
Yeah, Star-Lord. He's fine.
Oh, thank you. That's what I meant. Yeah, Star-Lord and Rocket together is better than just Groot.
I mean, like Star-Lord is an above-average Guardian of the Galaxy.
But not even just like the Guardians are moving your power. I feel like then there's also, it's like there's going to be probably like Doom 2099 that's just about big power increasing every turn everywhere. So you're just like, whatever, I'll win enough of them.
Doom 99 takes a while to ramp up.
I think it takes too long to get going. I think you lose by the time Doom is like scary.
You think it's too fast?
I think you're right that there will be like rush down strategies that go wide, but I think Doom's too slow, which makes me happy because I'm tired of that card.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I just thought of a technique we talked about before, doing the Venom Ghost Spider. That'll be really cool. Move all your power from one Sanctum to the next Sanctum.
Oh, we're going to see so much Ghost Spider.
Yeah. There's a bunch of cards that are banned. We know that cards that care about the end of the game, so that's Captain Marvel, Martyr, Dracula, Mysterio, M'Baku, those will be banned. And then they also said Debris and Juggernaut.
Good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see so many bans. Like, what's the most they had in High Voltage was like 4. So, and I expect there will be even more than just Debris. There will be, the goblins or something, Make it so that Clog is not a very viable strategy.
That would be miserable. Yeah.
It would.
I don't know if Cannonball will be or not. He seems very similar to Juggernaut to me, but Cannonball seems very strong in this mode. Okay, let's talk about the cards that are coming. The 3 more. We've probably talked about them before, but long ago. First up, and I'm springing this on you, we're going to give these cards the 4-point ranking too, just like we did for cards last week. So sorry, you can't give a cute rating scale this time, Ben. Laufey, they pronounced it Laufey. I thought it was Laufey. I don't know what the correct answer is. 4/5 on reveal, steal 1 power from each other card here. I think he's very good. On the spot, I definitely 1 thumb, maybe even 2 thumbs up. Like, that's just it's neutral on your side and 2-point swings for every card you hit on the opponent's side.
Yeah. Well, if I could, I'm just gonna jump in. I give
Do it.
Laufey 4 out of 4 arguable pronunciations. Is it Laufey? Is it Laufey? Is it Laufey?
It was Laufey.
Is it Laufey? Laufey? Laufey.
I've only read it. Just said it in my head.
Lo-fi.
I favor Laufey. That sounds right to me. Laufey.
Okay.
I
give it 4 out of 4. This card's nuts. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, so good.
I was waiting for the commentary.
No, I was just sitting in the rating system for a second, just taking it in.
Just vibing.
Yeah. But this card's like nuts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like it's a 413 or something. That's just going from memory. But yeah, if they've got a full lane,
4 targets, it's a 413.
Yeah, and that's assuming a full lane, and I don't like to assume a full lane. That's why I'm so low on Diamondback. But yeah, this even like a 411 is still pretty good, huh?
I like this card with Grandmaster.
This card requires 0 work, just none. Like, what do they think? I don't get it. Like, and it was in the release video in this form, right? Like. We've seen this. This has been in the data mines forever, but I thought they would fix it by the time it like got in front of our eyeballs. But no, this card's nuts.
Power creep on Spider Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be the best card we can get for free since Cassandra Nova, right? Like,
I think so.
This is a solid. Like, this could definitely star in a spotlight week, kind of card.
Yeah. I don't know what they're thinking with this one.
It fits in the curve with Diamondback and Ajax. And then on the last turn, you play Hazmat who needs Luke Cage because you have Ajax and Diamondback who are making it in your favor when there's Affliction.
You don't hate playing it on turn 4, 5, or 6. It's...
It just gets stronger the longer you wait.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of synergies with a lot of other cards. So, yep. Oh, works with Zabu.
Of course it does. Yes. Also, I just want to get this out of the way. I'm low for this podcast on Diamondback. I still think it's a good card. I just mean like among the 3 of us.
You're lower than us, yeah. For the record, okay. Did you give a rating, Ree? I know you said it was great. I just don't know if you gave it a number.
I was like between 3 and 4, but Ben's enthusiasm in our subsequent talk has led me to increase it to the 4-4. Yes.
All right, I'll commit to a 4 also.
Yeah, we're all hype on the Ice Giant.
12 out of 12 for Laufey. Uncle Ben, a 1-2. When this card is destroyed, replace it with Spider-Man. When we first saw it, Spider-Man was a 3-5. He's a 2-4 now.
It's true. This card has been nerfed by the Spider-Man buff. Yep. Still a good card, though. Yes.
Still good. I would give this one a 3 points, a 1 thumb up. I think it's cool in a deck where you're going to be using Killmonger anyway.
Yeah. Good point. Good point with Killmonger. I followed a thought process with this card, which was like, amazing, great. It's cheap. It's still got a little body on it, which is all you want for destroying, stuff. And then you get another card out of it. Perf. Like, beautiful. All destroy decks. But then I remembered, I'm like, oh yeah, because I feel like at one point it was like, add Spider-Man to your hand, maybe. And now it's like, it just gets replaced with Spider-Man. Or maybe it was always this way. I just didn't think about it.
I think you might be right.
I think in the very earliest versions, it was in your hand.
Okay. Yeah, so now, though, it's like when you've got, like, a Venom or a Carnage just gobbling up a bunch of little, Deadpools and X-23s and Nikos and whatever else you got running around in your Destroy deck. It's like, oh, well, now if Uncle Ben is sequenced, maybe Spider-Man is swinging Bucky out of there before, you can turn him into a Winter Soldier, which, what even good are you, Bucky, without that arm? I hate to say it. Okay, so I'm actively ribbing on, like, a fictional character. Like, they're gonna, okay, I'm sorry.
Shots fired.
Okay, so, so it's like, okay, so there is sequencing. It's not just free wins all the time, but still pretty good. Just got to think about what that Spider-Man's going to do.
Yep. Ben, did you give it a rating?
No, I'm a huge fan of this card. I will give it 3 out of 4 great responsibilities. I liked it better when it generated a 3/5 because that made it a surfer card. I'm still not entirely convinced it has no home in any kind of surfer because, if you're doing the Killmonger thing, I mean, why not? But yeah, I'm so excited that I think that more archetypes should have a little bit of move capability, like the sabotage thing. Like it's powerful and good, and I love throwing Spider-Man in a deck where people aren't expecting that sort of thing. The Spider-Man effect is very strong, so this is a strong card, and I'm real psyched to experiment with it in all kinds of things.
Yeah, I think it seems like a very fun card, certainly. Just don't know how meta it will be, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be meta to be a card I love.
I miss that extra point of power, though. Like, this really does, I kind of like how hard Uncle Ben looked like he was going to be just, like, embarrassing Bucky, Like,
oh, yeah.
for a second there, it was like, oh, Bucky gets nothing. Not like in comparison, like Winter Soldier is now a 2/7, right? Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, well, when we first saw this card, Winter Soldier was a 2/6 and Spider-Man was a 3/5. So like getting Spider-Man on the board, like instead of Winter Soldier, I was just like, yeah, I would rather have a 3/5 with the Spider-Man effect than a 2/6 vanilla, like any day of the week. But like now it's a little bit harder to say that because like the Spider-Man effect on a 4 strength body as opposed to the vanilla 2/7, like, unfortunately this still leaves room for Bucky, and that's probably good, but a little disappointing to me because I like Uncle Ben better than I like Bucky. Sorry, Sebastian. It just is what it is.
This is why they can't buff Bucky high enough, is that Destroy doesn't have a problem with getting enough power. Hardly ever. Mm-hmm. So you want all your stuff to get, you want to get the extra power from X-23. You want to just be like doubling up on that Deadpool or whatever. So it's like Bucky's, 6 to whatever power. It's like, well, I wasn't struggling with that, and we're still not really playing. And when you're playing Destroyer these days, it's usually with Nimra and like other shenanigans. Poor Bucky. Okay.
Pouring out for the Buckster. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm being terrible at hosting. Did you give it a rating, Ree? I know you talked about it.
I also gave it 3 because Spider-Man is just a good card and it's free. I mean, it's not free. You got to destroy it, but Yeah.
9 out of 12 for, which is not what we did for any of this season's other cards. Anyway, on to Gorgon. I was very low on this card the first time we saw it, and I still am. A 2/3 ongoing. Your opponent's cards that didn't start in their deck cost 1 more, maximum 6. It's very strong ability, but so conditional, and I just don't think there are that many decks that can run this. And it's a very hard ability to use proactively, right? Like, you can Spider Ham, Black Widow, and
Moonstone it. Just really turn the screws to them.
I remember liking this card better the last time we saw it, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
maybe Arishem was everywhere back then.
No, there still is Arishem, but here's the problem: is that Cassandra Nova is still a better counter to Arishem than Gorgon because, she just does more for you when she doesn't hit. And you're right, Gorgon just can't. It's hard to use him offensively. I think people will play him.
Very selective Sandman.
No, because he has a lot of targets. And I'm going to hear people, so people are going to play him. And I'm going to be annoyed when my arrows cost 2 instead of 1. But it's not going to win enough games, It's just going to be annoying when I have to face it. But
I just don't think we're going to see much of it.
I don't either.
I'm sure you will be frustrated when you run into Gorgon. I just don't think you're going to run into very many.
I want to play anytime I can get a cheap ongoing card. I want to retry some Spectrums.
That is a point in its favor. Like I don't dislike the card. I'll try to play it.
Yeah, Spectrum is an appropriate place for it. You play Gorgon instead of armor. That might be more disruptive, or that might be disruptive to a wider array of opponents. That's
and you know what? Doubling this
I can
effect
see him fitting in.
With Moonstone, making opponents' cards that didn't start in their deck cost 2 more, that feels a little more prohibitive. Like maybe we're actually changing the course of a game if we can double up Gorgon with Moonstone.
Yeah, but only against opponents who are playing those cards.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, hopefully that's like not your only plan. Probably you're probably doing other ongoing shenanigans.
Make them pay to put down the Widow's
you should absolutely play it with Black Widow. That's a cute synergy for sure.
Make them play with Master Mold. Just irritate some people.
They're going to do the same thing they did before when you would play Master Mold, which is let the Sentinels hang out in their hand and not
rot in your hand. Yeah.
I like doing it to bounce players.
It's just preventing how many things they can pull back. That's good. Yeah, it's a fun archetype when it works, but it doesn't work very often. The Master Mold thing. Most of the time when somebody spider hams me, I'm not playing the pig anyway. There are exceptions, but mostly I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I say that because the pig would get affected by Gorgon, right?
Yeah.
So, 1 point, 2 thumbs down. I think this card is a good ability that you can't afford to run.
I only gave it 1 thumbs down. Like
I give it 2 out of 4. What do I give it? I give it 2 out of 4 mutants and or Inhumans. As we learned before the recording, there are 2 characters named Gorgon in Marvel Comics, and one of them that I am familiar with is an Inhuman, but apparently this one is a separate person who is a mutant.
That's what quick Google told me anyway. On to our side quests. First up. Does that mean there's more than one side quest? It just might. First up, the weekly secret homework, which was from Ben. Ben, what was the secret homework?
All right. This week's secret homework was something I'm calling the Infinity Challenge. The homework was to take one of the, how many did it turn out to be? I listed, I think, 10 characters last week that were in the first HeroClix set for Marvel HeroClix Infinity Challenge. This came out in 2002 when we cared about a very different pantheon of characters. It turned out there was actually an 11th character that was in Infinity Challenge that is not yet in Marvel Snap. That was the other thing. These are characters that are not yet represented on Marvel Snap cards. And the 11 characters were... They were Constrictor, Boomerang, Puppet Master, Blizzard, Pyro, Whirlwind, Mr. Hyde, Controller, Firelord, Quasar, and Nightmare. I forgot about Firelord. I don't know how. The HeroClix figure Firelord is tremendously overpowered and was banned in the local tournaments that I played in my youth. Here's a Firelord. Not very well painted, but there it is. But anywho... it's wild that we just the rotating cast of characters that we just throw out with yesterday's news or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting thing to consider, and so we've all designed a card for one of these once important and arguably still important characters. Who knows? I don't know.
I really liked having that restriction.
It's worth mentioning that, yes, all of these characters are men's. There were female characters in Marvel HeroClix Infinity Challenge, but literally every single one of them already has a Marvel Snap card because they're a finite commodity, apparently. And we kind of, yeah.
Being underrepresented never happened to me.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, yeah, it's a whole thing. Can't say I'm shocked. It was 2002. if I'd thought about it a little harder, I might have picked something else, because if I'd even gone down the road a few expansions, there could have been some more options.
I like
Spiral is in the second set.
I can design cards for men. It's fine. I just like the ladies better.
I get it. All right. Do I have to go first? Must I?
Yes.
It's your challenge. If you want to mix it up, that's fine.
No, that's the way we always do it, and I demand we continue. The person who signs first, then the middle person, then the new assigner.
All right. Well, here's what I picked Nightmare. Nightmare is a Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider villain who apparently we don't care about anymore, I guess. Nightmare has Nightmare's own realm, like the Nightmare Dimension, I believe it's called. Trying to feed off the psychic energies of our dreams and stuff, classic stuff. So I decided I would do something that was like sort of mechanically in the Doctor Strange neighborhood, which means it's a move card. So Nightmare, I'm making it a 4/8 because move cards with abilities that could arguably be bad for you sometimes get to have big stats like Polaris and Magneto. So 4/8, yes, 4/8. When this card moves, another card here moves with it. It doesn't specify yours, your opponent's, whatever. If you move Nightmare, Nightmare is bringing a friend from that location.
Okay, like, that's fun.
I don't know. I kind of like this design so much that I'm frustrated that I squandered it on a character that I don't have a deep personal connection to. But what are you going to do?
I mean, that would be in every move deck, right?
I mean,
when you want to move cards, you want to move cards, right?
Yeah,
I just want to fling him into a HeroClix, though.
Because of its unfocused thing, I'm concerned that like this might put it into the Hercules realm where like it's a little too uncontrollable. I'm not sure Move actually wants to do this, and that's why I've like given it the big overstats. But like moving, like there will sometimes be 7 candidates for the card that moves with Nightmare. You know what I mean? Because like you'll have 3 neighbor cards and your opponent will have 4 cards at that location. So like it's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And I just think that's interesting. Probably provides some unique gameplay challenges. Probably, yes. Very, very powerful, even though it is a bit potentially double-edged.
Unwieldy.
Yeah. I thought that was fun.
I like it. It is fun, and it's a design I can totally see being in the game.
I also thought about giving the same ability to Whirlwind, a.k.a. the Human Top, who Marvel Snap Lore educated me about, and that was delightful to me. I looked up some... Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about Whirlwind, a.k.a. the Human Top.
Okay. When we do this challenge again, you'll have to make a Whirlwind card. Ree?
Okay, so I knew immediately when Ben was listing this off last week which card I was going to choose. So I guess I didn't even realize it till now that they were all men, but I guess I nevertheless persisted, and I actually designed a card for a woman because the character I was most familiar with of recent anyway from the list was Quasar. Because, and this is why I picked it too, it's super propes, because where I'm most familiar with this character is from the Sam Wilson Captain America run that happened, I don't know, probably quite a while ago. So it's super appropriate to the season. Yes. So there was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent called Avril Kincaid, and she ends up meeting Wendell... What's his face? I should have looked up the actual original Quasar, who became her mentor. She becomes the new Quasar. So there is a female Quasar. Her name is Avril. They actually got the Nega bands, and so they learned they did the swapping thing, like from the Miss Marvel movie, where they would like swap locations, so they would use them strategically for the best quasar for the situation. So that thematically comes into my card design. Obviously, when you got some Nega band swapping going on, you can't bypass that for the mechanic. So the card is Avril Kincaid Quasar, a 2/0. Works with Ravonna. Maybe she'll finally get some love out of negative. And it is when a card is played at this location, summon the other Quasar. Because the other Quasar... okay.
Oh.
Sorry, I should have thought about how to say all this. Because Avril Kincaid also has on her text, on reveal, give this card +2 power. Okay. So, when a card is played at that location, you summon the other Quasar. The other Quasar is Wendell, original Quasar, who is a 3/3. All right? Just a 3/3. That's it. But it also says whenever a card is played at this location, whenever a card is played at this location, summon the other Quasar.
Summon is switching?
Correct.
Yeah, that's
Switching
cool.
between these
very
two
Titania.
cards. Yeah, so I figure at worst, right, you're getting a 2/3 because he's a 3/3. Also, I just wanted to throw in some surface energy for fun, even though I don't know how plausible it is with this. But at worst, you're getting a 2/3, right? You're playing 2. You could get 3 power because your opponent also has some agency, right, over the swapping that's going on. But your goal is to summon Avril as many times as you can because they give +2 every time,
That's
right?
very
And that's
fun.
by playing cards at the location. So your opponent. So,
Yeah, it's a fun little quest.
yeah.
I like
That's what I
it.
thought. Probably could have explained it better. But that was the idea.
That's all good. We got the concept.
Sometimes I do enjoy listening back through for the timestamps because it does let me pay closer attention to some things that, like, maybe I can tell I'm not entirely 100% grasping on initial hearing, but I'll get there. But it sounds cool from what I understood.
You got it, though, Lauren, right?
I will understand it better, and yeah, it seems very cool.
I got it. That's a card I would play. Definitely. Okay, I picked Puppet Master. Several of our listeners also picked Puppet Master, but I had already designed this.
Popular.
Yeah, I designed this one pretty quickly. And honestly, it was more like, this is an ability I want in the game, and I jammed it onto one of the characters that you offered me, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, here it is. Puppet Master, 2/3. On reveal, activate all activate cards here.
It's a double activate.
Love it. And this is a way to get them out on turn 6, activate them. Yep, I love it.
Yeah,
beautiful.
if you're gonna pay for the combo, activate cards would still only be able to be activated once, so he wouldn't work on cards that had already been activated. I figure this is also a defensive card against enemy activate cards. Like if they've got Bullseye sitting there, you're like, you know what? I really don't want you to use that guy at all, but I'm dropping this now. I'm dropping this before the MODOK.
That's too cool. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I'm sure yours is as cool as Lauren's was. It just made more sense to me immediately.
Lauren's is very
cool.
My
gosh. Wow, that's a hell of a design.
So I thought of that. Turn 6, activate cards, and also Dark Dimension Invisible Woman. You could put activate cards there and then have Puppet Master after them.
Wow. Wait.
Okay.
Dark Dimension? Oh, I was confusing that with Deep Space. I always confused that with Deep Space.
Invisible Woman's ability.
Yep, that's the one.
It gives you a way to activate cards without doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And is that an on reveal or its own activate?
Yeah. On reveal.
Okay.
Activate all activate cards here. Which is an awkward wording, but it's the best I could come up with. Okay. I'm assigning the new secret homework. It was actually touched on in both my Weekend Snap and Ree's Weekend Snap. Ben's always just having fun with the game. But anyway, I had my fun epiphany where I was like, I need to be playing decks that are fun just because they're fun to play, not just playing whatever is going to help me climb the best. And so the homework is to, but when I did that this past week, I was doing it with cards I already knew I loved, Cersei and Valkyrie and other favorites, Mysterio. So I want you to make a fun tier deck. It's fine if it turns out to be good, but it doesn't have to be good. A fun tier deck with cards that you suspect are fun, but have very limited experience with, whether that's all time or just recently. But I just want you to try out some new cards that look fun, not necessarily good. And maybe make a silly combo or something. I don't know. That's it. Make a fun tier deck with cards that you suspect are fun, but don't have much experience with. And then we'll report back on how that goes. Don't use this on your climb to infinite would be my suggestion.
Don't tell me how to do secret homework, Lauren.
But I mean, it's also like I was saying at the beginning, if you're playing a C tier fun deck and you kind of know how to snap and retreat, then you can still do okay with that type of deck.
My fun deck is not going to be C tier. Or I don't know. Ben
doesn't make C tier decks. He's incapable of it.
That's not true. I mean, I think that a lot of my decks are probably would be argued that they are C tier. I don't know. I don't think of them that way, I guess.
I also don't think poorly of my own decks.
I know I make dumb decks, but that's because I just like doing fun things like making giant ass Mysterios. That deck is not good, but when it does the thing, it's explosive.
Play more Mysterio. Maybe that'll be my card.
Yeah, whatever underplayed card I come back to you with next week, you're going to be disappointed. It's going to be probably too good and practical, and you'll be like, Ben didn't understand the assignment. But
it's fine if it's good and practical.
To you. And if your fun is just squarer than the rest of ours, that's how it be.
Yeah. Okay. We have another side quest this week. Ben has a new segment, which may or may not be a game.
We don't know. It's a surprise to me and
Lauren. I haven't brought a game since a very long time. The earlier days of the pod, not in a couple months, I don't think. And like all the best games, I stole this one from another podcast, of course. In this case, Stradia Lab. Check it out. It's a great podcast. Okay, this next segment is called Snap Shooters. And in this segment, I test your familiarity with and complicity in Snap culture by asking you a series of rapid-fire questions where you have to choose this thing or this other thing. And the one rule is you can't ask any follow-up questions about how the game works. And if you do, I'm just going to start screaming and mashing the Miss Marvel emote and just being a real jerk about it. So keep that in mind. I'm going to ask a few questions to each of you to gauge the situation. I'm going to start with you, Ree.
Okay.
Remember, it's this thing or this other thing, and you can't ask any follow-up questions. Victoria Hand is an absolute gem, or uninstalling the app because I hate RSM.
I
will repeat them. Victoria Hand is an absolute gem, or uninstalling the app because I hate RSM.
All right. Uninstalling the app because I hate RSM. I have no idea what this is in regards to, but I can't ask questions.
Very interesting. Snapping on 6 and trouncing them soundly, or spotlight caches rule everything around me?
Oh, is this supposed to be personal? Am I supposed to be answered? Because I love RSM. I'm not installing the game. Even though he's nerfed. Okay, sorry. Okay, focus. On the current thing, we are doing...
Oh, yeah, I should have screamed at you asked if they were personal. Oh, my God. Well, whatever. Just, I wagged my finger. So, which thing? Snapping on 6 and trouncing the soundly, or spotlight caches rule everything around me?
Snapping on turn 6.
And trouncing the soundly. Okay, understandable. All right. The Crimson Bands of Cyttorak, or I might have plans. Let me call you back.
The Crimson Bands of Cyttorak. I've played Marvel Midnight Suns.
All right.
And I've read a lot of Doctor Strange. I've seen these spells around, I'm saying. All right.
How about this? Phoenix Force or Phoenix Down?
Oh, Phoenix Down for the FF reference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Playing cards at unrevealed locations, or Ben ropes every turn and I'm losing my patience?
I do have to go with Ben ropes every turn. This is just clearly,
okay.
I'm glad you're being self-reflective, so I have to support that.
So those were the re-questions. Lauren, I've got some for you. Lauren, now that you're familiar with the format, I'm sure you're not going to ask me any questions.
Absolutely not.
Entertaining doubts of Joaquin's practicality, or wake me when Wanda rewrites our reality?
Entertaining doubts of Joaquin's practicality.
All right. Playing around a suspected Red Guardian, or a lazy day in your comfiest cardigan?
Oh, a lazy day in my comfiest cardigan.
All right. No more Scar, or more Novar?
More Novar.
All right. Token Tuesday, or Manic Monday?
Token Tuesday.
All right. Sandcastle kickin', or proactive with Wiccan?
Proactive with Wiccan.
That's the right choice. All right. And I'm going to assign you both a combined score out of 1,000 cubes, 999 cubes for the two of you. Great job. Thank you for playing Snap Shooters with
Crushed
me.
it.
We're the winners.
I liked your rhymes.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was fun. I was so confused at first. I'm like, how do I win? Like, which is the right answer? Is this a review?
A game is, I don't know, kind of. I mean,
exercise.
It's very playful, but yeah.
I enjoyed it.
There.
Well, if you like what you heard, tune in next week. We'll be, talking about the patch probably. Is there an OTA? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, there will be new cards to talk about, and that's always fun. So you should be there. Interact, like, comment, subscribe, etc. Join us on the Discord if you can figure out how. We would love to have you there. I put the instructions in the show notes in the video description, but it's not easy. Yep. We are part of the Snap Judgments Network, where you can listen to other great shows like Snap Decisions from Joe, which has lots of episodes, at least 2 a week. Mondays with guests and Tuesdays a normal show. Sometimes bonus episodes. And if you do want to find out what we think about April's cards, tune in next week. Same Snap time, same Snap channel.
Yay, guitars.
Everybody dances. Good time. Nice chatting with you too.
It was a blast.
I'm so far behind on my shit. I have my board game retreat this weekend, and I am supposed to bring my dill pickle chicken salad, which isn't real chicken because I'm a vegetarian. It's made with soy pickles. And I have not made it yet. I have not packed.
Yeah.
The stress.
This is a big annual event, right?
It's a biannual. Yeah, do it twice a year. Yeah, it is just where we get like an Airbnb or whatever and then play board games all weekend.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I need to do that.
It's pretty amazing. It's very amazing. Highly recommend.
I wish I could convince more people to abandon real life for a minute. And
we do this. Okay, so we make a soundtrack. It's part of the ways to get hype for it, where it's a big playlist. We all get to put 50 songs. It used to be 40 songs. And we called it Edward 40 songs, but then we decided to up it to 50. So
it wasn't long
get
enough.
Repeats. And sometimes the playlist stops for the night, and then when you hear repeats is what we figured out over time. But now we're doing 50. So yeah, it's a good time.
That's
Highly
awesome.
Recommend. Start your own board game retreat.
Is there a game that you're especially into right now, or that you're especially excited to play this weekend?
Am I? I'm actually more excited because my friend is leaving home this game called Barrage. And you think, okay, Barrage, that sounds cool. What is it? I remember one of my friends was going to play it. They were so excited. I'm like, that sounds fun. Like, what are we, sieging something? It's about building water dams and upgrading them.
Very cool.
Okay.
And getting the most points by doing that. It is so, I need thematic stuff. Let me rule a space empire. Let me command armies of orcs or something. Or at least let me fulfill my cozy fantasy of being, you know, like a shopkeeper and, you know, whatever I'm doing. But like, I'm so interested.
You're not into dams. You're not into engineering against the very forces of nature. Okay. You're not...
Because my friends are so, like, they're very hard into, like, how fun are the mechanics and thinking about those. And I value that, too. I do value that.
Yeah.
And where we diverge is I have this game about playing, like, a prestige-style illusionist, right? And you have to, like, get all these stuff for magic tricks, and then you perform them, and you have assistants and workmen. It's so complicated. My friends, like, hate playing it because you learn the rules every time. But the theme is so good! And on the other hand, they want me to, like, build water dam. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going on about this way too long. But yeah, so I'm actually more excited that's getting left home.
Yeah, that's the most exciting thing. We're not playing Barrage.
We do play Marvel Champions, which is the physical card game that is, like, all that I'm playing now, besides Snap. Which is a fun, it's like co-op versus, it's very fun. Okay, sorry. I just went on a whole rant about Barrage. How boring I find it.
Actually, I think I might be mixing it up with a different co-op Marvel card game.
There's a lot, to be honest.
It's true.
I think Marvel Champions is the one that my kiddo bought a Valkyrie deck and made little tiny Valkyrie cards for my birthday. They're really cute.
Aww, that's adorable.
Like cut up the artwork and made little tiny Snap cards. I'll show them off when they're done. They're
cut up
honestly.
I believe it's a work in progress version.
Yeah,
but I want the final product.
Yeah, I gotta bug her to make them. Hello, esteemed listeners. I'm gonna do that singular, actually.
I think you should.
Hello, yes. This is an intimate moment. Yeah. Hello, esteemed listeners.